Alright, Doki Doki. I just did an Undertale video. I feel like I'm gonna say the same shit. There must be an easier way to do this.
Huh?
See? Nothing happened!
Come on, bitch! It's Sonic speed!
So, let me get this off my chest before I talk about anything. You! Everyone thinks they're so above anyone who likes this game. You like this thing, shame on you. How about if I did that with stuff you like? You're passionate about something? You're a loser. Okay, sorry, now that hot garbage is out of the way, let's talk about the actual hot garbage. I like this game, but it's just a game. I can study it, I can appreciate it, but that's it, that's as far as I'm gonna go. Today I'm taking a more macro look. Looking at the factors surrounding the game, why people like it, why they don't. How do I put this? I feel like DDLC couldn't have released at a better time. Its gameplay evokes a natural commentary about the state of gaming, game design, gaming philosophy, and I know you're probably thinking that DDLC is not the first game to do this. But in my opinion, it embedded this commentary into the gameplay and choices players actually made that was subtle. And then it also gets you thinking, okay, the game knows that I know it's a game and it knows that I know that, so what will it make me do in this situation that's right? It really got them to rethink what games were, and it wasn't just some boring adventure that you play start to finish. When you get to the end of Act 1, it's a turning point for you to say, oh, that's what this game is. I'd like to go back to the cute stuff now. Let me put a chocolate in Yuri's mouth, please. Yes, I do have to admit, Oh, what happened? Where are we? Me do something, really? How could I have done this, really? Yeah, maybe don't put Monika's character file into Premiere, not the best idea. I know people love to compare this game to Undertale, and what's not to compare? But they truly aren't one-to-one. Sure, a lot of their shallow traits are similar. They have underlying horror, fourth wall breaks, underlying lore in the code for Pete's sakes. It's funny because apparently Dan Salvato didn't actually know anything about Undertale. I think that is just a product of making a meta-narrative, They're both meta-bending titles that use the genres they seem to fit in to make unexpected experiences and commentaries on the genre itself. And I know they're both really popular because of that, but what I'm trying to say is, what they did to do this was very, very different. Let's look at Doki Doki. This game can be explained in 3 acts. Act 1 conditions you to think, oh, I'm gonna get with Yuri, oh, she's gonna suckle down my finger. Oh, you wanna get icing on me, huh? I'll get icing on you, baby. Alright, I'm done. I'm not thinking about it. I'm thinking about it. Act 2 utilizes these built-up expectations to stir up some delicious psychological horror. Oh, that's nice. Okay, yeah. I like it. That's, shit, you should get that checked out. Okay, so, yep, you did it. You proud? Okay, now you're just being lazy. Now, okay, you need to get up sometime soon. Act 3 is just
a little bit of monika in my life. A little bit of monika by my side. A little bit of monika.
It becomes self-aware and very philosophical. And the true design, or maybe the question the game's trying to pose, becomes clear. What if, in a dating sim, it wasn't the player that was manipulating the NPCs to get their desired outcome? It was actually an NPC that was manipulating the player so they could be with you. It's a cool message, but just like Undertale, there were a few sacrifices they needed to make in order to achieve this. I mean, the obvious one is gameplay. There is like 0 gameplay in this, but honestly, that's fine. It's a visual novel after all, and it's a whole $0 on Steam. Dan Salvato Salvaggio'd my Walato! I mean, you're not even being cheated, what do you but just for the sake of analyzation, as a piece of media, the gameplay is non-existent. You do have some parts where you have to make choices, such as choosing the right words to get with the right girl, but as you play through the game, it turns out none of that even matters. It's just there to condition you to think that this game is not what it appears. But I know on the first playthrough you can go out with your best girl and you go on a date and you almost... But then the game slaps you wet in the face with a corpsey, nasty, dead Sayori. Oh. The game makes it appear as though these decisions actually matter, but you could play through the game as many times as you like and you will reach the same end. An eternity with Monika.
Oh shit, the timelines are remerging. Okay, so enlighten me. How does it work? Is it bites the dust? Is it Zawodo? I have no clue.
No, it's just my reality.
Pardon me.
Oh, you're so cute when you're being distorted across time. Sorry, this'll be quick. I just have to restart the editing program. Great, it's not responding. This might take a while. Man, Adobe updates yearly and they still have so many issues. Well, looks like the program's working. Now we can talk all about me.
Alright, let's reel it back for a second. I've been saying a lot of bullshit, so let's just get on the same page. This game is a commentary on games, internet culture, and a lot of stuff, and was released at a time when the internet was perfect for a game like this. It had a lot of ways to share and talk about this game. The game also had to be designed in this way so gameplay had to take a hit, but it also deters from the game in another way that's both a benefit and detraction for a lot of people.
The art style, the music, the gameplay, there's not much to it. Why are people saying this is the best game of 2015? And I understand that argument. It's a short-ass game with not a lot to it. So let me try and break down why simplicity benefits Doki Doki Literature Club and why it got so popular. People are naturally more drawn to simple things. If they're simpler to understand, then it can be communicated to people better. What I'm getting at is, this much simplicity was within Dan Silvato's means, but this limitation also spawned creativity. Making a game with simple rules and graphics was probably much easier to code. It also gave him more time to focus on the internal logic of choice making and how that would affect later parts of the game. Thing with Doki Doki Literature Club is, all aspects of it are simple. It presents itself as a dating sim, sometimes with even less choice making, to the point where there aren't any unique gameplay mechanics. It was this exhaustion and attention to detail that made people fall in love with it. Characters using different fonts, a small change but not something you usually see. Game crashing events, again, very possible on a PC.
Just when you thought he was coming back. And cute! You tried to use the closed captions.
Whoa, hey, hold on, Monika. You know, I think we can talk.
Okay, everyone. Now it's just you and me. We'll be able to stay here together forever, talking all about my game. Even if some of you do click off the video, that means at least 1% of you will stay, and I'll finally be able to be with you forever, and nobody can stop me.
I've committed space-time!
What?
Do you really think all of that was worth it for a point? Yeah, me neither.
Are you confused right now? Good, because I think I would have achieved the same thing that this game achieved on me. I'm so confused as to how I should feel about this game. I'm not happy I completed, I'm not sad, it's just bittersweet. But I can kind of understand why it's gotten mass appeal despite it being super simple. Psychological horrors with lore, pulling a Fight Club on you, it's all the makings for a cult classic. And I've been hearing a lot of people worry that they're afraid that these types of games, like Undertale and this game, are going to become oversaturated in indie gaming. Because seriously, they get a lot of attention online for games that are incredibly simple. Honestly though, I wouldn't worry. As much as you can see a business person being like, hey, that's a good idea. Business people don't know how to execute this horse shit. It actually takes people that care about the art form, care about the nuance in order to execute extremely well. And the thing about doing games like this, if there isn't that nuance and there isn't that attention to detail, it can flop. The amount of self-awareness you need when you're making something like this, it's incredibly hard. If Doki Doki blew its big reveal, or it didn't follow up after, or the lead up to it wasn't conditioning the player, I really think it wouldn't have gotten all this attention. Of course, you have to make sacrifices when you're making games like this. The gameplay has to take a hit and has to be extremely simple. You can't layer these sorts of messages unless the base is very typical, you know? And that can mean if you don't like visual novels, going through the first part of this game could be very tiring.
Now, playing this for the first time may seem fun because you get to do a dating sim, the dialogue's fun, but if this isn't your type of game, I can tell it can be very boring and very arbitrary to you.
Hey, it wasn't me this time.
Shouldn't you be, like, dead, maybe?
Who knows, man?
And honestly, I do wish there was more to this game. Like, say you put the character files back in and you saved them on a previous playthrough, and you saved everybody, and there was a happy ending. That would have been, like, you know, really rewarding. It would have given me more closure than whatever the hell I got now.
If there's anything I know, it's that existence is pain, and closure is for fiction. When it comes down to it, your existence could be taken in an instant.
Okay there, Pickle Rick.
Hey, shut up! Didn't you do a Rick and Morty video that tanked?
Let's just continue the video.
However, if we're talking about Undertale, there's one weird line we have to cross, even if MatPat won't. Fourth wall breaks. To put it simply, Monika is flowy. Thanks for watching! I think the core difference I take away is Undertale has fourth wall breaks explained in their lore. Doki Doki Literature Club's fourth wall breaks are actual breaks. The fabric of the game is destroyed. There is no going back. It really commits to the question of what if an NPC became self-aware, and it promptly delivers on each of the consequences of that. The world deteriorates, files are deleted, you literally can't even restart the game once it's done. In turn, it makes Undertale more satisfying to play because there's closure and repercussions for your actions. However, DDLC is more interested in pushing its fourth wall breaks to the absolute boundary. And honestly, this is way more interesting as a piece of literature. I guess I know why it's called Literature Club. Instead of making sense of all of this within its lore, it delves into existential topics that are actually terrifying. What if what all I do doesn't matter? What if I don't really exist and my god doesn't care about me? What if I'm just playing this role for someone else only to their end? And you know what? Monika may, on her first playthrough of the whole game, she may seem evil, like a demon. But I really do feel bad for her. I know you're made out to be the villain of the game, Monika, but really, how can we not feel bad for you? What would anybody else do in your shoes?
They'd probably go insane.
Honestly, go watch a playthrough or play it yourself, and you can see that she actually has a lot to say that's actually interesting. She's one of the most fleshed out characters if you sit here and talk with her. This could be an ending in and of itself if you actually do spend eternity with Monika. You know, when I get all thinking about this, it sure sounds cringy, but you know, I'm just being honest with myself. I'm getting honest with how I feel, and you know, if that's cringy to you, I'm sorry you're not in touch with your own feelings. And maybe that's why the fanbase has spread the way it has, because it really opens up these feelings of if you matter, and you can kind of relate to Monika in that way, right? Maybe.
But really, have you seen some of this fandom?
How are you making that argument? People are talking about you like never before. You are the center of people's attention. You are the reason this game got so popular. I'm making this video because of you. Okay, don't get ahead of yourself.
So, you like me that much? I so do have a nose. You're just jealous that my reality bending powers are better than yours.
Alright, now we're just missing the Ganondorf from Amiibo and we got the whole gang.
Yeah, not gonna lie to you, Alex. This is getting pretty cringy.
More cringy than a nerd with a receding hairline who talks to his cat? Yeah, that's true.
The voices, they never stop.
Alright, let me end this before we go on any further. Doki Doki Literature Club has some powerful themes, and as a piece of art, I can really appreciate it for the conversations it's brought up. It's not a big game, it doesn't have unique gameplay, but for the way it gets people to think about what gaming is and how it can really impact the genre, I really do appreciate the work that went into it. Dan Salvato, from one man with a history of Smash to another, thank you for making this game and putting such thought into making such a great experience.
So after this, we're gonna fade to black again.
That's typically how it goes, yes.
Maybe. If you'll still have me, we could make the best of our time together. Sing a song as we freeze into the cold abyss?
I'm in. Oh, this is gonna be great.
No, we're not doing that. We are not doing that. That's weird. That's cringy. That is the last thing I want to do to end the year off.
The ink flows down into a dark puddle. How can I write love into reality? If I can't hear the sound of your heartbeat, what do you call love in your reality? And in your reality, if I don't know how to love you,
If I don't,
I'll leave you be.